everyone, you are watching Weekly Forex Outlook by Liteforex. In this video, you will discover the most exciting trading opportunities of this week. As you can see on the chart of the US dollar index, American currency corrected from its multi-year highs, but managed to find some support at the end of last week. American currency was supported on Friday by good US employment data. Job growth in America rebounded in October as shown by the famous NFP or non-farm payrolls indicator. In addition, there was the largest annual growth in wages in 9.5 years in America. And these positive figures from the United States increased the market expectations of tighter monetary policy of the US Central Bank, the Federal Reserve, in the upcoming months, and helped the US dollar recover. As a result, the US currency has good medium-term prospects. In the upcoming days, there will be more interesting events that will have an impact on the exchange rate of the USD. The main event will happen on Tuesday, and it is US midterm election, which will form the US Parliament, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. And according to the opinion polls, Democrats can take control over the House of Representatives, while the Republicans will be able to retain the Senate. This development may lead to a short-term negative reaction in the USD. However, most analysts agree that as there is a high prospect of higher interest rates in America, any decline of the US currency on the elections will be an opportunity to buy the US dollar at lower prices. As a result, it is probably wise to wait until the result of election to have a look at the initial reaction of the market and then to make a trade in the US dollar versus some other currency or just the USD index. So the US election may give an opportunity to buy the US currency on the dips. And now let's consult the economic calendar at liteforex.com to see what other exciting events await us this week and will provide us a chance to make money on the news. So on Monday, November 15th, we'll get a services PMI from the UK, and this is an important indicator for the British pound. And during the US session, there will be ISM non-manufacturing PMI from the United States, and it is one of the key indicators for the USD. For now, you can see that the forecast is a bit lower than the previous reading. Tuesday, we'll start with the meeting of the Reserve Bank of Australia. According to the expectations, the RBA won't change its policy and will leave the interest rate at the current level of 1.5%. So still, traders are hoping for a more hawkish comments in the statement of the RBA, and if so, the Australian dollar may continue recovering. If not, the Australian dollar will suffer. So we'll keep an eye on the statement of the Reserve Bank of Australia. Also on Tuesday, we remember that we have the US midterm elections. And other data includes early on Wednesday, late on Tuesday, according to the time measurements you have, New Zealand will release employment figures, an important data for the New Zealand currency. And now we came to Wednesday. Wednesday will bring us Euro area's retail sales, IV PMI for Canadian currency, and coming to Thursday, some data from China, trade balance. These figures usually have an impact on Australian and New Zealand currencies, as China is one of the main trading partners of Australia and New Zealand. In the evening on Thursday, there will be the meeting of the Federal Reserve and the interest rate decision. However, as traders expect the Fed to increase interest rates in December, at the meeting there will be a press conference of the central bank. This meeting of the Federal Reserve won't produce any changes in the American monetary policy, so it might have only a minor impact on the USD. And what else do we have here? Also on Thursday, there will be the meeting of the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, and the expectation is that this central bank will also leave its policy unchanged, with the interest rate at 1.75. So not a big deal, not a big change here. And finally, we have Friday, November 9th. Here the focus will be on British GDP growth figures for the previous quarter, the nation's industrial production, manufacturing production, and trade balance. So Friday will be very active for trading the British pound. And during the US session on Friday, there will be a release of American Producer Price Index and the new data for consumer confidence and consumer expectations. So this is the agenda for the upcoming week. You can see that we have 3 central bank meetings: Reserve Bank of Australia, the Federal Reserve, and the Reserve Bank of New Zealand. We have a lot of data releases in the Great Britain, which will have an impact on the British pound, some data from China, and minor releases in other economies. And of course, US midterm elections on Tuesday, which will increase the overall market volatility. It's time to return to MetaTrader and to check the charts of the main currency pairs. As usually, we start with Euro-Dollar. Here is the weekly chart, and we can see that last week the candlestick for Euro-Dollar indicated the high levels of uncertainty at the market. The support which was tested was around 1.13. Here we find the long-term support of 200-week moving average. On the upside, the trend which is going on since the end of September is the limiting factor for the currency pair. Switching to the daily chart, we can see that indeed the trend line prevented the euro from getting very high. We can see that resistance is located in the area of 1.1430, 1.1460. There was a shooting star candlestick formed on Friday, and it is quite natural now to expect some of the pullback in euro-dollar to the downside. However, support at 1.13 seems really strong, and we need some extraordinary data from the United States to make the pair decline below that level, or some big escalation in tensions around Italian budget, which will have a negative impact on the euro. Data from the euro area, there will be some during the week, but not like very important data releases. So the key thing to trade euro-dollar will be the result of the US midterm elections, which may lead to higher levels, and the Italian budget problem, which may pull the euro-dollar lower. On the upside, above 1.6 1.1460. The next important resistance is at 1.15 and then 1.1560. Above 1.1460 we will certainly have these higher targets. If the euro dollar proves unable to get above 1.14 level, then our focus will be on trading the area between 1.14 and 1.13. The British pound managed a big recovery last week. Traders closed their bearish positions on the British pound, and this short covering allowed the British pound to return to the area of 1.30. There were some positive news from the UK. Firstly, the Bank of England told traders at its regular meeting that if Brexit is smooth, then it will increase interest rates in the future. And this surely made traders more positive about the British pound. In addition, Sunday Times reported that there is an agreement about an all-UK customs deal with the European Union without the hard border for Ireland. However, of course, still some hurdles remain, and the negotiations, the Brexit talks are not finished yet. So that's why we see that the British pound has a lot of resistance levels ahead. We are currently trading around 1.30 below the level of 1.50 and 1.31. The previous support and now resistance will also be an obstacle. And the next area is 1.3220 ahead of 1.33. If the pound goes below 1.30, then it may return to 1.29 and 1.28. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we can see that currently the currency pair is consolidating, and it will depend how it will exit the current range. But the 200 period moving average is on the upside, and it is a resistance. So the path of least resistance is to get to the lower levels here for the British pound. We'll watch the news, as there will be a lot of news releases for the British pound this week. The US dollar managed to recover versus the Japanese yen on positive data from America, and also on the general improvement in the market's risk sentiment. We can see that the pair returned to the uptrend, and it even managed to get above the resistance around 113.10. So the next levels to watch are 113.70, 114 and 114.70. Support in case of the market's worries on the US midterm elections will lie around the moving averages, which are at 112.30 and 111.70. So these are the lines which used to provide support for these currency pairs during the previous months. So these lines can support the US dollar versus the Japanese yen one more time. Australian dollar managed to get higher, to get to resistance at 0.72 and even higher. The candlestick formed on Friday is a shooting star, and it is of course a negative sign ahead of this moving average, which has a negative bias, and which means that the strong resistance is located further at 0.7265 and 0.73. However, still on Monday, trading started on the positive node, and if we stay above 0.72, then Australian currency will get a chance to retest the mentioned resistance levels. If the Reserve Bank of Australia disappoints and gives some negative comments at its meeting on Tuesday, then there will be a sharp reversal to the downside, and returned to 0.7150 and 0.7090. The New Zealand dollar made even bigger progress versus the USD during the past week. It managed to get farther away from the resistance line here, and it was supported by the general improvement in the market's risk sentiment, some optimism about US-China trade relations. So now we are trading just below 100-day moving average at 0.6660. On Friday, there was also a negative candlestick formed, and the pair closed below this level. However, if the US dollar suffers on Tuesday, the pair will have a chance to test resistance at 0.67, and the next natural level to target will be the next Fibonacci level at 0.68 mark. The inability of New Zealand currency to strengthen, bad data from the New Zealand and some negative comments from New Zealand Central Bank this week will bring us back to retest the former resistance and now support line to the area of 0.6550. If we look at the chart of gold, we will see that after the decline towards the previous resistance and now support line, gold managed to recover, but still it stays below 38.2% Fibonacci level and previous lows. This is a rather hard level, so we need a confirmation that the gold prices can break above this point if we want to take further positions with higher targets. Support levels are located at 12.18 ahead of 12.07. And finally, have a look at the chart of the US dollar versus the Chinese yuan. We talked about the importance of the level of 7 last time, that Chinese authorities may decide not to let the USD get above this level. And indeed, the pair corrected down, though find some support at 6.88. There is negative divergence on the chart, so once again, the attempts of the USD to get to this level may bring resistance in place, and the USD may reverse to test lower levels and moving averages which are below the current market price. So this is it. You had the overview of the upcoming trading days for the main Forex currency pairs, and if you like it, please subscribe to Liteforex YouTube channel. In addition, in the link in the description to this video, you will be able to find the download link for Liteforex trading terminal, and you will be able to open a demo account at that company. Thank you for your attention and good luck in your Forex trading.